thanks to all of you for being here today. Happy Mardi Gras! It's Fat Tuesday. It's the perfect day to make a fat donation to Ben Stuckart's campaign. We're going to do some celebrating tonight. My name's Ed Bart, and it's my pleasure to be your MC here today and to help honor our friend, the President of the Spokane City Council, Ben Stuckart. Before we get things rolling, I would like to invite Matt Wynne, who is a member of the Council of the Spokane Tribe of Indians, to start us off with a blessing. Matt Wynne.
Good evening, everybody. It's really an honor to be up here to do this for such a good friend of the Spokane Tribe who puts his heart into his work. We all know that. But the extra effort he takes to be such a good partner with the Spokane Tribe. So right now I'd like to ask everybody, please, if we could have a moment of silence. Just this last week we lost 4 tribal members within that week. So I'd like to ask if you could get just a moment of silence for them before I give the invocation. Thank you. Lemnach Kuan Creator God, for bringing us together, for making us all one heart in this effort to do more work to honor you, to honor this man who gives so much of his life for the people of this area. Bless him and keep him and his family and all of those of his loved ones, his friends, all the people that support him, and even the ones that don't. Be in their hearts, help guide them as you guided Ben and as you guide us every day of the week, every hour of every day. We bless you for all the things you give to us, this beautiful weather we've had, the beautiful river that we're working so hard to make better, for the salmon, for all the things that you give to us every day. We thank you for those blessings. Lamnach.
Thank you very much, Matt. You know, I've had a chance to get to know the Spokane Tribe pretty well and been in some of their meetings, and every meeting they have, whether it's a large one, a formal one, or an informal one, they always started off with a prayer. And lately, they've been praying real hard for the chance to create 5,000 jobs in the West Plains, so they could use your help in praying too. Thanks again, Matt. You know, I wasn't sure what color tie to wear here today. I wanted to get dressed up, and I put on a red tie. Thought, no, that's not. You can't wear a red tie on the north side of the river. And so I had a blue tie, and I thought, geez, that's a little, pardon the expression, conservative for today, a bright summer day. So I wore my green tie. The green tie is a Benjamin Franklin green tie, the color of money, and you'll be hearing more about that later. Because I think that all of you know that it takes 3 things to win a campaign. It takes money, and it takes money. So we'll be hearing more about that later. We'd like to thank some people starting off tonight. First of all, Don and Lorna for hosting us here at this great studio. Isn't that something? That's some great music by Don Goodwin and Steve for our great music tonight. Thank you. Mark Starr, Mr. David's Pizza, which is about to reopen on Malin right across the street from the arena ticket office. And I might add, he's also the part owner of a great restaurant on the South Hill, 57th Regal, one of my favorites called Famous Ads. Famous Ads. We also would like to thank Gage Stromberg from River City Brewing for the beer. And also in the back of the house is Deborah DiBernardo of Roast House Coffee. She's serving coffee, but she's also selling coffee, and all the proceeds go to Ben Stuckart's campaign. Also, Sheila Garrity. Garrity's another famous name that you'll recognize, I'm sure. Sheila Garrity made the King's Cakes back here that we have to celebrate our Mardi Gras theme. They're authentic. We also have some other dignitaries in the house tonight. Probably the most important person in the whole place tonight is Mary Ann Stuckart. She made all of this possible. and she's been back there serving dinner too. So thanks, Mary Ann, for being here. Also, we have Jack Garrity, former county commissioner and former mayor. Jack Garrity is here. Jack Garrity was the youngest county commissioner ever elected in Spokane. Still holds that record. And if he ran again, he'd be the oldest, but I don't think that's going to happen. We have Matt Peterson, the former mayor of Airway Heights, is here. Former Senator Lisa Brown is here. Former Representative Denny Delwo. County Commissioner and Everest Summit man John Ruskelly's here. We also have Councilman Karen Stratton and John Snyder are also here, and Candace Mom is here as well. We also have Mindy and John from Senator Murray's office that came over from Seattle to be here with us tonight. And we have the entire Chase Youth Commission right here who are here for a meeting tonight. That's the future of our community, I'll tell you that. You know, I've had the pleasure of knowing Ben Stuckart longer than almost anybody in this room besides his mom. We were very close neighbors when Ben was in the first grade. And he was pretty much one of my kids too. He was always at my house, or my kid was always at his house. They were on the front yard. And when Ben and my son played soccer, the Stuckarts and the Clarks were coaches, despite the fact that we didn't ever play soccer and didn't really understand the rules for the first 2 seasons. But the teams did well anyway. And that soccer experience was my very first experience with Ben Stuckart's drive and determination, and Ben Stuckart's game face. You know, recently I have seen that game face when unruly and disrespectful people disrupt city council meetings. You know, early on I knew that anyone who had a game face like that was going to be able to get things done, and Ben gets it done for Spokane. Ben went on from being a soccer star to Lewis Park High School and then Gonzaga U, where he was a star on the nationally ranked debate team. Now, I don't know if he used that game face in the debates, but he won most of them because, bottom line, Ben Stuckart is a winner. So it's very easy for me to support Ben Stuckart from the moment he decided to run for city council president. And I've been very pleased with the job he's done, and I know all of you have too. He's done it under some very difficult circumstances, which are still going on, but he runs a strong, responsible, for the most part, city council. He supports small businesses. He helps promote community projects that bring more jobs to Spokane. What could be more simple than that? He tries to foster civility and tolerance in our community. Ben cares deeply about the people of our community, all the people of our community. He's a powerful servant leader. Ben has led fiscally sustainable budgets that meet the needs of all of our citizens and reflect our values while being responsibly sound and reliable. He's led domestic violence legislation and employment and housing protections for victims of sexual assault. And he's led urban farming. Farmer Ben. People can now sell the food they grow in their market gardens, and that's one way to build sustainability into our community. And you can also have goats, I understand, too. I'm not sure that's the best idea of all. Anyway, Ben Stuckart has led Spokane in the right direction. Now, enough of this speaking. Now it is selfie time. So get out your cell phones. Since we're all having fun here, we're going to stop and take a selfie that you can post on Facebook. Come on, get your phones out. Let's go. We're going to take some pictures. You know, campaigns have changed over the years. It's not just yard signs and it's not just billboards and that kind of thing. It's social media. So take a selfie, post it on Facebook or Twitter. And Twitter, the Twitter handle is hashtag reelect Ben. And we'd like to have hundreds of these floating around and all throughout the campaign. Let's just remember, Ben has done a great job so far of getting all the social media going. And I'm sure you've gotten all kinds of posts about this. So smile, you're on selfie. We get those selfies taken. The other thing is we have some giveaways tonight. We have some nice little prizes up here. You can't see them because I'm standing in front of them, but they are Mardi Gras prizes. And everybody that has a button on, a Ben Stuckart button, check the back of the button. Because there's a little sticker on each one of them, and those people with the stickers win a little prize up here. There's one big sticker, and the big sticker wins a purse that was thrown from a parade float in the Mardi Gras about 3 days ago. So check your stickers and come on up here afterwards and claim your prize. Right now I'd like to introduce the chairman of the Spokane Tribe of Indians, Rudy Peone. Rudy's going to come up here and talk a little bit about his friend Ben Stuckart. Rudy?
Oh, thank you very much. Before I get going, I usually never write anything down because I always screw it up. But luckily I wrote down a quote that I read. I wasn't going to say it until I heard one of the stories that Ed said here. So please, before I get going, I just want to get this off my chest because I was thinking about it, and the type of guy Ben is. Anybody that's been in a high-level, elected, appointed position where you take a lot of arrows, many of them which come to your back, may understand this a little bit. So here it is. Bullfight critics, ranked in rows, crowd the enormous plaza full. But only one is there who knows, and he's the man who fights the bull. So that stuck with me when I read that, and it made me think of my friend Ben. Made me think of myself too. It's not so good times. But so anyway, while you're pondering that, I have a few things I want to talk about. Obviously, I represent the Spokane Tribe, so I want to give you a little bit of discussion on that and how it relates to kind of why I'm here. The city of Spokane and the Spokane Tribe will forever be intertwined in its history and in its future. If you don't know, the city of Spokane is actually named after our tribe. Spokane, pronounced Scani, a major metropolitan trading center. The Spokane tribe was the tribe that lived here. You know, we extended to our neighboring tribes. We traded salmon, buffalo, you name it, it was traded here, just like it does today. Even though it's not salmon and buffalo. But we're working on that, the salmon piece. And Ben's been integral in that as well as his fellow councilman. So we appreciate that. But to this day, we still have hundreds of tribal members that live in the city of Spokane. Some of them still own homes on the exact spot where some of our ancestral villages are. Like down where John Schneider lives, down in Peaceful Valley. Peaceful Valley! We still have a tribal member's family home down there to this day. It's awesome. The city of Spokane, I believe, ranks 11th nationally per capita for Native American population in the entire United States. So that's huge. That's not just Spokane tribe. That's all these other tribes that travel here, whether it be for education, whether it be for work, what have you. The airplanes, the highways, they all transport them here. You know, so a lot of our programs that we have that are based in the city of Spokane still, temporary and needy assistance for families, Spokane Tribal College, our executive director's here for that as well. But we work with the Spokane tribal people, other tribal people, and non-tribal alike. We do that for all of our programs. And the Spokane tribe itself has multiple parcels and properties in the city limits of Spokane. So, I mean, we're tied historically, we're tied currently, and we're going to be tied forever. So I just kind of wanted to make that statement. So when you hear about the Spokane tribe being around, we're here for a very good reason. We're one of you. You know, we're one of you, you're one of us. So Ben, as the city council president, is representing me. He's representing my people, my tribal members, my community. So we do have a lot at stake. We're not visitors here. We're community members, just like all of you. So anyway, I just want to give a little bit of background on that. I want to talk a little bit about our involvement on a professional level with Ben, Big Ben, and City Council. Thank you, Ed. There is a possibility of 5,000 jobs on the horizon. We keep nudging that football closer to the goal line. Hopefully we don't pass the ball, we're just going to keep running it in. All right, I was at an airport when that play happened. Okay, so some of the other things we've been working on. Surface water quality, Spokane River, TMDL stuff, the salmon recovery. I've got our cultural resource properties, construction projects, our economic projects. I already mentioned our tribal college, our TANF programs, temporary assistance for needy families. There's a lot of things we work with on, not just our STEP project. So I mean, regardless of how that goes, we're going to be here. We're going to be active participants. And all those items we work on, credit to Ben, your current president, credit to the other city council members. I mean, I may not be the oldest guy in the tribe, but I do have a pretty decent working history on a lot of this stuff. And I have to say, this is the most professional, positive relationship the Spokane tribe has had in decades. Just decades. When we first started the touchy-feely, get to know Ben and get to know the city council members, you know, it was one-on-one, we're talking. And I gotta tell you, there's been a lot of things in the past that would led my ancestors and maybe some of my city councilmen right now, maybe myself, that maybe we got some trust issues going on here. But I gotta tell you, everyone that was mentioned in this room, including Ben, everything we've talked about, everything we've shook hands about, has came to fruition. And that's just unheard of. It's just unheard of. Usually you got to drop these long contracts and attorneys negotiate for days and weeks and you pay a lot of money. But we haven't really had to do that. We've sat down one-on-one, we've talked over things, we've shook hands. Ben's walked away and said, I'm going to work on this, Rudy. I tell him I'm going to work on stuff too. He calls me a week later and it's done. You know, it's done. Let's move on to the next thing. And that's just unheard of. I mean, I work in Olympia and Washington, D.C. a lot. Trust me, that doesn't happen there. It just doesn't happen. I just make that point because it says so much for his word. His word is oath. He says what he means and he means what he says. And that's why I'm here today. I have never done this for an individual running for elected office. Haven't done it. I'm here today because I believe in Ben. I believe in what he's done. I believe in where he's going. I believe in that city council that we have. We have that city council. We have that president. He's my president. Lives about roughly the same time. I'm a fish and wildlife biologist. My undergrad, my graduate work was water resources. I didn't know anything about politics. And then about that same time, I hear this guy named Ben Stuckart running for city council president. Didn't have a chance. He's a community activist. Don't know what he's doing. Next thing he wins with over 53% of the vote. It was pretty cool. So we'll see what they title him this time. I don't know if he's still a community activist or what now. But, oh, I'm sorry. I did make one more note I want to touch on. This really hit me last year. Anybody know who the male Democrat of the Year was last year? Ben. And what I thought was so cool, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who said it, but I remember them up on stage. Oh, it might have been Jim Casterling. And he said, during that last election cycle, they seen so much of Ben on TV, on billboards, you name it. Ben was here, Ben was there. You would have thought Ben was running for office last year. But thankfully, everybody that Ben was supporting for the most part on city council is right back in there. So congratulations to you folks. But it says a lot for Ben. He gives and he gives and he gives. I've seen the game face. It's kind of cool. He's passionate. So before I go on and on and on, I bring myself to tears. Let's watch a short little video. Someone cue the video.
Good job, Rudy.
When Bart Stuckart decided to run for city council president in 2011, Spokane was a different place. Unemployment was at a staggering 12.5%. These libraries operated on restricted hours, and City Hall mulled over the false choice between service cuts and tax increases. Meanwhile, mistrust between the community and the police department had reached a dangerous breaking point. Then Ben Stuckart stepped up to lead. In collaboration with other City Council members, Ben has made tremendous strides in reshaping the direction of the city. When citizens demanded our public libraries offer more services, Ben, joined by Councilman John Snyder, led a successful levy campaign. Library use is up across the entire system. The library's Business Resources Program is helping local businesses work smarter and more efficiently. It's the first of its kind, unrivaled in the nation. Ben and Council member Amber Waldrop set into motion a comprehensive approach to delivery of services to spur private investment that can transform an area's business center, as happened in Perry District. Ben called on stakeholders like East Spokane Business Association, the Regional Health District, community development organizations, and city staff to get the targeted investment program in motion. The city has committed over $30 million to projects in the East Sprague area, projects that will renovate and restore this neighborhood. This approach was recently recognized and rewarded with a Smart Growth America grant.
I think that at this point we probably have one of the best councils that we've had in a long time. Ben has been instrumental in keeping the council focused on growth in Spokane. The mayor is focused on growth, and Ben has been very focused on growing the environment that makes people want to live here, work here, and play here.
Ben Stuckart is good for small business. We were having some issues. We needed some help with getting our patio built. And Ben Stuckart went to City Council, and I think he helped them realize that this is a good thing for the city, that the community needed that, and that it would be good for small businesses. And so he helped them realize, and he made it happen.
Ben's ability to engage partnerships, to build consensus, and get real work done is his strength. So, bringing together the private sector, the Spokane Tribe, the Spokane Riverkeeper, and the Lands Council, a cutting-edge plan has developed for our Spokane River. Under this plan, toxins are removed from the river faster and at a much more reasonable cost. It's lauded by the EPA and the Department of Ecology. Ben's fearless, upfront commitment to equality is essential to the council. His positions have helped shape the city's approach to justice issues, homelessness, and equal rights for all. With help from the Center for Justice, Ben and the council passed an ordinance for a ballot proposition creating a police ombudsman with investigative powers. Citizens supported it overwhelmingly, and though its implementation is still a work in progress, police accountability issues and public concerns are being addressed. Advocacy of the arts began long before Ben's tenure as council president. He believes a great city should have a great cultural life.
He's also so passionate about marginalized people in our community, and that's also something that's incredibly important to me. And so I feel like we have this double gun, someone who's going to root for the arts, but someone who's going to root for the people we really need rooting for in our community. And so absolutely 100% that needs to be reelected.
Wow. Without further ado, it is my great pleasure to introduce my friend Ben Stuckart.
There's some bright lights. You like my tie? Yeah. Linda got this for me in New Orleans last week. Good evening. Those jokes weren't written down. And I'm going to try to intersperse other jokes that aren't written down. Good evening. I want to thank Ed for his great emceeing, Matt for his prayer, and Chairman Peone for his introduction.
And thanks to everybody here that worked tirelessly for the last few weeks to prepare this and volunteered all of their time. I want to thank especially Adam from my office, who keeps me sane during the day, and Jim, my campaign manager, who has been absolutely excellent. And I'd like to recognize my mother, who's here tonight. My father, who recently passed away. And the reason I want to recognize them is they're the reason that I do what I do. And finally, Anne, I love you so much, and to put up with me every day has got to be very time-consuming and frustrating. 4 years ago, I stood in front of some of you, many of you, under much different circumstances. Like so many other cities, Spokane was suffering. Our city was yearning for restored trust and a brighter day. I ran for office because I knew the time had come for our generation to stand up and guide our city into a bright new chapter. Our campaign knocked on thousands of doors and offered a basic, fundamental message: energetic leadership, a set of shared values, coupled with a willingness to compromise to move our city and all of her people forward. And let me tell you, I cannot wait to get back to doorbelling. Because after the last week, people always tell me, Ben, you have to have thick skin to do your job. The only thick skin I have is right down here. But I'm proud to say that our city is better than it was 4 years ago. Crime is down. Unemployment rate is half of what it was. Streets are getting replaced and potholes are being filled. And Riverfront Park is about to be reinvigorated with the same spirit that she had in 1974. Spokane's cultural life is thriving. Events like Terrain and authors like Jess Walter and Sharma Shields have transformed Spokane into a significant cultural hub. We created the City of Spokane's first Poet Laureate program to help bottle some of this incredible talent. And Tom Caraway is killing it in that job. Is Tom here? Have any of you heard Tom do poetry? He's absolutely wonderful. If you have a chance, read some of his poetry or go see him speak. And the city has realized that economic development is not some magic fairy that lives in Seattle. And it's realized that it's not how many big box stores you can squeeze within your borders. My economic development strategy is simple. Businesses invest in places with talent and stability. If we do our job well, the basics, water, sewer, police, firefighters, parks, and libraries, people will choose to live here, and that is the stability. We've got the talent. We've got the talent from our excellent public school systems and our institutions of higher learning. Plus, we have the quality of life that augments that long-term stability. But if we are serious about growing our city's economy, we must also be serious about valuing the workers that keep it moving. I am proud to stand with those that collectively bargain for a fair wage. I stand with those like Dwayne Cooper who are fighting for stronger worker protections like earned sick leave. Let me tell you, we hear you loud and clear. And we will work with our small business leaders and pass paid sick leave this year. Thank you, Councilmember Stratton. She stood with us on the Quality Jobs Ordinance, which included the city's first ever public works apprenticeship program. She was under immense outside pressure. It was one of Karen's first meetings, and we threw her right into the fire. I appreciate her willingness to stand up for our workers. Will you stand with us for our workers? This council has also dusted off the city's sustainability plan, and we're taking action to implement the measures it has outlined. We have an obligation as leaders to recognize our changing climate as the public safety issue that it is. And every step matters. When urban beekeepers came to me to see what we could do as a city government to protect their hives, we passed a law that ended the government use of a dangerous pesticide that's been proven to harm the honeybees, and we were the second city in America to do that. Every step for the environment matters. During my term, council had the opportunity to ensure that taxpayers get the best value by passing a law requiring that the city purchase products that do not contain river-polluting PCBs. Will you stand with us to protect our river? Every step for the environment matters. This council has refused to see the city's extension of water service as simply a land use decision. It's a sustainable issue long-term with lasting impacts far beyond what we will see in our lifetimes. I want to thank Councilmembers Snyder, Munn, and Waldrop for their thoughtful work on this long-lasting decision that puts the city on equal footing with the county in regards to urban sprawl. Will you stand with us to make a better Spokane? So I'm going to just go off script real quick, because yesterday a train blew up in the East Coast. I have been leading the charge. I met with Secretary of Transportation Fox. The city of Spokane in 2013 was the first one to pass resolutions calling for the end of Dot 111s. We have to act now with the bomb trains that are going through our community, and this council has been leading that effort. Last fall, while I was in D.C. fighting for a safer rail system, I walked over to the Longhouse office building, which houses some of the offices of our congressional leaders. There, I witnessed one of the most beautiful scenes I have ever seen. 3 priests were outside Speaker Boyner's office praying for comprehensive immigration reform, while immigrants sang songs in Spanish behind them. It was incredibly moving, and I still cannot get it out of my mind today. Back in Spokane, I wrote to Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rodgers asking her to support comprehensive immigration reform. Unfortunately, 3 months later, I received the same Dear Ben form letter that many of you have also received. So late last year, with the support of Catholic Charities and World Relief, I brought an ordinance to the council that solidified a 10-year police policy to keep members of our community from being subjected to unfair targeting and biased policing based upon immigration status. It's passed council with a supermajority. Unfortunately, this common sense approach to policing has drawn a bit of opposition from a fringe group in our community stuck in another time and in another place. They call this law a sanctuary city ordinance. And they're right. The city of Spokane must be a sanctuary for the people who for oh so long have been forced to live their lives in fear because of the failures of our congressional leaders. Will you stand with me welcoming all people to our community? The battles for humane immigration policy or any other social justice cause are not won solely in the halls of Congress or in Olympia or in the city council chambers. They're won with how we treat each other every single day. They're won by supporting the choice of who to love, how to worship, and to pledge allegiance to our flag, regardless of where a person is from or how they may have gotten here. We effect true change when we actively, collaboratively, and publicly challenge the injustices of our government systems and demand reforms based on compassion and respect for human dignity. We've been striving to make City Hall more accessible business, and that is great. If you want to build a business paying living wage jobs, I will walk hand in hand with you through whatever process it takes to make that happen. But it is also time to walk hand in hand with our friends who have seen no economic recovery, the ones seeking work, shelter, and food, the ones seeking human services. We must lend them a hand and do whatever it takes to get them back onto their feet and back into the game. I am committed to working with the Human Rights Commission, all community groups, and you to make sure that our city remains a place where you are accepted regardless of race, religion, creed, color, sexual orientation, gender identity, or your social economic status. And with your help, we will make sure that those who need receive the wraparound services of a caring and compassionate community. There is no doubt that we are a better city than we were 3 years ago. But the job is not done. We must reaffirm our commitment to progress. We must remain resolute in our values and principles if we are to meet the goals and objectives we all share collectively for our community. So my ask is simple. I humbly ask for your vote, and I ask that you stand beside me as we tackle the challenges and embrace the good fortune of our wonderful city for the next 4 years. Thank you very much.
Well, to start with, Ben asked me to remind you that tomorrow evening at City Hall Council Chambers, the Move to Amend organization will be staging an event, and David Cobb, who is the national coordinator for the Move to Amend process, will be the main speaker, and I think you'll all get some satisfaction from that.
What time?
7 o'clock at City Council Chambers tomorrow evening. Well, it's often been said that money is the mother's milk of politics. I want you to hold that metaphor in your heads for just a little bit. But how much money is enough money? Each election, we face that question. But here tonight, we know that Ben is going to need enough money to get his values out to get reelected. Isn't that why we're here? Yeah. I can't hear you! Yeah. Like the turtle that sits on the fence post, Ben didn't get here by himself. He needs your help once again. But we're not asking for resources for Ben alone. We need to create coattails for Karen and Rory and to keep the supermajority on City Council. We need to create a strong front to counter the George McGraths from rising up. Do I hear a hiss? Hiss! That's it. Contributions to Ben's campaign are an investment in our local government and city council. We need to pay for all the parts that go into a campaign. The signs, the media, the personnel, the fundraisers. The condition of our city council is a huge bright light for all of us. So we can't lose those 5 seats. So give extra generously this evening and for Ben's campaign during the rest of the campaign. Keep the bright light on in Spokane. Now let's fill those envelopes and let's give him a jump. Let's go!
Wow, what a party this is! And here's the most important part. Everybody let's do some stretching exercise. Come on, everybody stretch, just a little bit of stretch. So stretch your wallet and give a little bit more for Ben's campaign so that we can send him back to the city council presidency and doing the great job that he's been doing. Thank you everybody for coming. Thanks to everybody that made this a great success. Don't forget to buy some coffee, some Roast House coffee. All the proceeds go to Ben's campaign. So thanks very much. Happy Mardi Gras and good evening. Thanks for being here.